This revision video is looking at Christian funeral rites. Now, a key question here that we need to look at is, how do the funeral rites reflect Christian beliefs about life after death? So basically, what is done during the service, the funeral service, that links into their beliefs about what happens after you die. I'm going to use the Orthodox funeral here because it's very symbolic, and a lot of what they do reflects their beliefs. It's a good one to talk about in a question. For example, things like body is washed and put into new clothes. Now that's an outward sign of, that person starting a new life, a new beginning. So it's a good reflection of belief of life after death as a new journey. They also have a strip of material that's placed across the forehead, and on that there are pictures of Jesus, the Virgin Mary and John the Baptist. And again, this represents the fact that person has won a victory over life. So it's almost like the victory wreath that an athlete runs through at the end of the race. A picture of Jesus placed in the hands of the deceased, and that is a sign that the person believed in Jesus Christ and gave his life to him. In an Orthodox funeral service, the body is placed in the centre of the church and is usually in full view of everyone, so an open casket. And that's done to symbolise the fact that death will happen to everybody, and actually it's not something to be afraid of and to prepare for it. Don't see death as a scary thing, see it as a way to be with God. There are prayers and biblical readings in a Christian funeral service, and these are used to emphasise eternal life. So the vicar or the priest will obviously read passages out that emphasise the fact that death is not the end, there is life after death. And obviously the prayers would do the same, help focus your mind on God and help reinforce the idea of Jesus' resurrection and the fact that you too will have life after death. The mourners hold candles, so the loved ones, friends and families, anyone mourning the death, they hold a lighted candle. And again, this is symbolic of the fact that the person has died, yes, but they're not dead. Their life has not been extinguished. Their life is still burning, i.e. their soul has obviously gone up to heaven. It's still alive, has that eternal life. 4 candlesticks are actually placed around the coffin in the shape of a cross, again, to show their Christian belief. The body is covered with a special cloth as well, and this is done as a sign of the protection given by Jesus. So even though they're dead, they're now with Jesus and God, and therefore have their protection. So what are the key beliefs highlighted through the funeral service? Just to give you a bit of a recap to show you. Well, hopefully the service provides comfort and reassurance to the bereaved, the mourners, the friends, the family, the loved ones, all of those people. So the key beliefs, like Jesus, the deceased will gain eternal life. And again, passages are read out to really reflect this. Good passage here from John's Gospel. I am the resurrection and life. He that believes in me will never die. Again, reflecting there is life after death. You believe in Jesus, you will have that eternal life. The deceased hopefully is with God in heaven. That's reflected strongly in their Christian funeral service. And the fact they are under the protection of God. And also God will give them strength to cope. So those people who have lost a loved one, they would take comfort in the fact that God gives them strength and are able to cope with that loss of that person, and hopefully realise that this is a natural part of life and a process of gaining eternal life.